Welcome to the show, boys and girls. This is Christian from Books and Brewskies. I'm here with Shane and Brandon, his second appearance on the show.
What's up, Christian?
What's up? Today, we're just going to talk. We're going to have fun. First off, Shane's going to talk about the beer. We're going to flip things up on you guys. You know, usually I talk about it. I might talk about it a little bit, but what's the review, Shane?
Well, we got the Red Truck beer here. It's a classic lager. At first, I wasn't like the biggest fan of it, and I think for me personally, I compare it to more of like a laid back kind of, honestly, like a PBR. That's kind of where I'm standing at. So that's my opinion of it. But I think it's a good beer that you can bring to parties and have a good time, honestly.
So this is the Red Truck Beer Company. They're in, actually, I looked them up. They're from Canada originally, but this one's in Fort Collins specifically. Red Truck Beer Company. It's a product of the USA. That's what it says in the can right here.
That's
correct. That's all you know. It's called the Truck Stop Classic Lager. It says the freshest beer on four wheels. I don't know if that's the beer company's tagline or if that's the beer itself. But Brandon, thoughts?
Well, I've been to the actual truck stop. You guys been up there in Foco?
Which truck stop?
The Red Truck stop. But I was gonna say, if this isn't your taste, or if you have a different kind of palate for different beers, they do have a large assortment there. I definitely recommend going there. They have some great food, just sitting down with the boys, the girls, family, whoever. Pop open a cold one there, or it's poured for you off the tap. But get a little beer over there and some food.
That way.
It does taste better off the tap, but get a cold brew up there and enjoy a little day in Foco.
It's like drinking from the hose when you're a kid.
Like water.
It tastes so much better out of the hose.
Get that perverted look on your face. I don't have any look on my face. I just didn't know where you were going with that one.
Off the hose, like out of the hose from the the thing that you plug in your backyard, the little faucet.
You plug it in.
Whatever.
You screw it in.
You screwed it in.
It's Christ.
I just looked at you and you got all nervous.
It's fine. No, I looked at you. I thought you had a perverted look on your face because I was talking about hose. The hose in the backyard, the garden hose.
Hose in the backyard. Alright, so.
Okay, well, Shane has a lot of hose in the backyard as well as I drink water off of them. Anyhow, back to the beer. I'm going to read the description off of the website here, and this is off untapped.com. Shout out. But this is a classic German Pilsner, well balanced between sweetness and bitterness. This version is brewed with a bready Pilsner malt, classic earthy German hops, and soft water. I really don't know what the soft hard water thing here has to do.
It's I don't know how to explain it, but there's a huge difference in hard and soft water. So
yeah,
well,
it's like water softener. I think it's
like
that.
Beer,
like, you gotta put water softener in.
Yeah, but I get that. Is all beers brewed with soft water or some hard water?
Some guys have hard water.
I don't know, but the hard water dries out my scalp, so I like soft water.
I mean, Coors Light's with Rocky Mountain water. Is that?
You should get Head and Shoulders.
No, I'm talking about when you take a shower.
Troy Palm.
Go to Fort Collins and shower all the time. It just makes your scalp a lot drier than down here.
It's coming out of the Poudre Canyon River.
There's a lot of stuff in that canyon. Keep going.
Have you been to Mishawaka up there ever?
Focus. You're still.
No, that's a dead ass question.
If what?
Mishawaka, the little concert thing up Poudre Canyon.
No.
I've been. Is that the one? I'm not sure what you're talking about. I've not been to it, but my buddies have. It, so it's actually pretty sweet. Is that where they did that little? They had that concert kind of stage there.
It's kind of like a little amphitheater.
Yeah, and then you party up there and you have to pay for super expensive Uber down the canyon.
I mean, I would drive up there myself, but yeah, I don't know how big Uber costs. But anyhow, this is an easy drinking and timeless beer. Red Truck Beer Company.
Hey, you could drink this beer at that concert. That'd be a good time.
I drive by it every summer like 3 or 4 times because I have a cabin up that way. So
should go whitewater rafting and have some
Red Truck beer.
Red Truck Stop Classic Lager, product of the USA.
Fort Collins, Colorado.
The freshest beer on 4 wheels. So that'll lead us into our first segment.
Well, I mean, really quick, hold on. I do want to talk about it really quick.
Okay.
So, new thing we're going to start doing here in the next month or so. For you guys that are more beer fans and don't really want to listen to us just talk about too much shit or books. I mean, if you just care about beer. Shane and I will be attending different breweries, traveling to different breweries around the state of Colorado, talking possibly with their brewmasters and owners and or whoever wants to talk to us at the brewery. Talking about the beer, what they do, why they do it, why they love it, If they're drunk, we don't know.
Hell yeah. Sounds like a good time.
That'll be next month. And maybe the month after that, the month after that. Let us know if you like that. I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
That sounds awesome, guys. I think there's the brewery off Santa Fe. That's a good one. I've been there a couple times.
Breckenridge Brewery.
That one's fantastic, so we should go down there.
I'm sure there's a few off Santa Fe, but I know that one off the top of my head.
There's that one. There's a ton of them downtown, but I think that's awesome. I think that's what I would prefer to see you guys actually talk with these people, have them give us a little bit more of a breakdown than us just kind of reading the label for these guys and letting them know kind of what they do that's special and kind of breaking the process. So would you like to transition into the first segment?
Yeah, so last week we started You're Killing Me Smalls. Now, none of us saw any messages about anybody's Killing Me Smalls of the week, so send those in to us. We'll read them out loud, obviously. I can read them myself. Anyhow.
That's your toilet reading.
Go ahead, Brandon. Let's introduce us to the first You're Killing Me Smalls of the week.
I have to do the first one.
Yeah. You already had one.
Oh my god. I don't want to do that one, but I guess I will. So I'm looking at Christian right now.
Why are we looking at me?
You're killing me, Smalls. Christian's financial portfolio. He was explaining it to us today. Shane and I were talking about some stuff, and Shane's been doing a really good job of being proactive with his
I have no stocks, okay?
Or bonds.
Or bonds.
Or a Roth.
It's fine. I have life insurance, it's fine.
Hey, can I find one that?
Yeah, 401k or what?
No, our company doesn't offer that.
Yeah, no.
I hope they're not watching that.
Sorry.
But go ahead, yeah. That's You're Killing Me Smalls.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that at this point in our lives, and it's time to start doing a little bit for the future. And Christian, I know you have a lot of ambitious goals with your passions of your gym franchises and your nutrition supplements, which I'm gonna maybe make a donation to on an episode.
That'd be sweet.
Do some awareness for something. We'll do like a charity, and I'll match a donation to the charity to you.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, we'll do something like that down the road.
Cool. Sounds good.
Go ahead,
I
Christian.
like it. No, we're gonna go to you, Shane, because Not Killing Me Smalls is still brewing.
I thought you had that Mason Crosby one.
Oh.
No, you know what? My if we're gonna talk about NFL Killing Me Smalls, Adam Vinatieri last year. You're Killing Me Smalls.
Oh, okay.
Why does he's like 45, he's older than Tom Brady, comes back, misses field goal after field goal after field goal.
Now
after
that
field
time
goal.
you just gotta hang up the cleats.
It's time to put the cleats up, man.
It's time to put
I don't think he's coming back this year.
Mm.
But
I hear you. I'm still debating on my You're Killing Me Smalls.
Can't believe we went after Adam Vinatieri, legend.
hey, it's fine to go after Adam Vinatieri. There was a point in time when Peyton Manning needed to hang it up too. He had a noodle arm, Brock Osweiler to come in and save us. Super Bowl champions.
Hashtag hot takes today.
Hot takes.
Hot takes.
You know, my favorite part of the Super Bowl 50 was when Von Miller absolutely destroyed Cam Newton. And Cam Newton's done now. He's been broken since. Broken.
You know,
Can't
here's
throw.
my You're Killing Me Smalls right here. Josh Allen in the playoff game. You're Killing Me Smalls. Did you see his pitch? Did you see his pitch in the fourth quarter that he was running down the field and he just threw it back for no reason? They should have won that game. The Bills should have won their playoff game and they lost. You're Killing Me
These are
Smalls.
very retroactive. You're killing me, Smalls.
They're so hot.
I think for future You're killing me, Smalls, maybe like a 2-week window.
No, we're going back.
Back in 1999, when the Saints hosted the playoff game against the Rams, and they won.
No, that just came to my head because that was big for the Bills team to win that playoff game, and I just think they ruined it. They ruined it.
Let's see. You were born.
Killing Me
So
Smalls
Shane,
guys suck.
you were born on
1995.
May 18th,
Yep.
1995. So that means roughly August of 1994. Kim and Scott, you're killing me, Smalls.
Speaking of Scott, just wanted to remind you guys, this is our cool new studio, and I'm going to dub it right now the Round Table Studio because we have a round table this week and a square rectangle table.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a square rectangle, whatever.
Nice.
Moody's Hardwood Flooring, check him out on Instagram. If you need hardwood, call Scott.
I would honestly point back here and like really showcase this. Like, look at that.
This is a sweet wall.
artistry. He doesn't just make hardwood floors; he makes hard walls as well.
Exactly. Going back to the portfolio.
Oh my
Scott
God.
makes a lot of hardwood.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Brandon has a ton of background information about us in our 20s of how to properly invest. So, Brandon, I'd like you to tell everyone.
Exactly. I mean, and me
Exactly.
being in a
Christian-
situation where I
Christian
don't know a
doesn't
lot
have
about this and I'm trying to learn, and I would like to know, where are we at? What do we need to be doing? What are the dudes that are getting out of college, in elementary school, need to be doing right now on their cell phones that they have?
Well,
Or talking to somebody. I don't know.
Well, I think Shane and I had a little talk. Let's see, when was it? Probably about 2 years ago. We just talked about what we want to do for our.
1995.
It takes back to 1994.
Neither of us could talk in '95. I mean, yeah. In terms of like the finance stuff, I did a lot of things, and I was definitely pushed by Ron, my stepfather, to do a lot of stuff, and he challenged me and was hard on me, like, why are you doing this, and this, and. I think at a young age you want to be aggressive, and if you're aggressive at a young age, it definitely rewards you as you get older. I was very thankful to put some money in the market and had some money in the market. Probably I've been doing this for about 9 years, 8 or 9 years, about 16, just putting money in there, and then it's been great. The market's been doing well, so I've been very blessed with that, but it's really a good time when you're young to invest because you can ride the ebbs and the flows. It's not just about the highs. Say you invest right now and then stuff goes down. It's not the end of the world. Just make sure that you have a sustainable amount of money to support your lifestyle. Try to budget. And I know budgeting is hard. It's really hard for me at times, especially when you have a girlfriend, not because of the girlfriend, but when you have a girlfriend or you have a lot more people involved in your life, you want to do stuff. You want to take them out. You want to do things. So it makes those impulse buys a lot more there's a lot more of a kind of, you feel like there's a need for them and they're more enticing. So understanding that, hey, you need to put money aside, and stocks are great, especially when you're young. As you get older, you can kind of cut back on your stocks and do more sustainable, kind of safer ventures. But at my current age, the stock market's been great to me. I'm looking into real estate right now. The goal for me is to probably get some form of property here soon and allow that property to be an additional source of income to my salary as well. So looking at properties and looking at short-term rentals. Short-term rentals are a little bit more lucrative, so I can utilize that short-term rental to pay off the mortgage and kind of accelerate that process. So that way my income goes toward potentially my rent, my lease, stuff like that, while the property itself pays itself off. It's scary, I'm not gonna lie. It's one of those things where you see these numbers and they intimidate you, and you see, hey, 10 years to pay this off, 20 years to pay this off, 30 years to pay this off. In terms of real estate, and you're like, holy cow, and you feel a little overwhelmed, but I think it's just finding the right fit for you, the right situation, and doing something there can be really beneficial to you. And like I said, stock market's been great. So at this young age, I feel like it's very enticing when it's like our first time having money. Like for me, when I graduated college, I was like, oh my God, what is this giant paycheck? What do I do with this? Like you're living off scraps your whole life, or when you're in high school, you're getting $20 from your parents. When you're in college, you're part-time job, trying to just stay alive. And now you have a little bit of a more kind of solid footing for your future, and you're trying to figure out what to do. So doing different stocks like that, and find something you believe in. Every stock's not going to be a superstar, but if there's different things with stocks, with dividends and stuff like that. I don't know how much you want me to get into it, but if you can find a stock you believe in, you want it to shoot up, you can find a steady stock, like a major corporation, like a cash cow that pays solid dividends each year. You make 3% back, and you just reinvest that year over year and build money that way. So it's just about figuring out what you want to do, what you're comfortable with, and being smart with your money.
Yeah, I mean, I think that high risk, high reward right now at this age is a super important part. Like, I think a lot of us, we are looking for like security. Like, we want that financial security at this age. And that's a big part of life too. Like, you want to have a security when you have a family, when you have friends, when you have whatever, like girlfriends and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like thinking of that high risk, and we have time, like you said, the market might go up, the market might go down, but you have time. And since we're so young, you wait for those waves with the market. And the more that you try to invest into like, get some in that high risk. And that's kind of what also Gary Vee talks about a lot, is like, take your shots now. I mean, when you hear the people who are in their 40s and 50s and are like always talking about like, hey, my best times were in college, my best times were in high school. Well, clearly they weren't doing what they wanted to do in their 20s. They weren't taking the risks. They weren't doing their passionate things. Like you said, that's super important with your stocks too, is like be passionate towards it, right? Like go into a stock that you actually care about, because you're going to be buying that product, or you're going to actually be caring about this like investment. And I think that's huge, is a lot of people aren't taking that high risk. They want just as financial security, but we live in a time now where like life is super expensive. And it's tough because we're trying to balance like, I gotta save up for like this house, or I gotta save up for my kids if I have kids someday. But I mean, the more you can take these high risks, like you're gonna get that high reward. Sometimes you're gonna lose it, but the biggest thing is like, that's why your portfolio, like Brandon was saying, is super important. You want some stuff in the lower risk category, but you want some stuff in the high risk category. And that's super big with in these 20s. And I think a lot of these people are missing that. And also we talk about investments. I know Christian, you're all into getting some new cars and stuff like that, but which is fun. Like, go do what you want to do.
I'm passionate about cars.
Yeah,
I literally sit and look at cars all day. I mean, when we're sitting here like getting ready to do the show today, I'm sitting there looking at Jeeps and Vipers and
go do that. And
Corvettes and GTRs and all sorts of shit.
And look, and that's
I'm
your
looking at townhomes.
that's your passion, and that's what excites you, and that's what you want to do. That's fine with that. I think at the end of the day, you just got to know like what sacrifices. Like, are cars a good investment? No. Of course, houses are going to be a better investment. Land's going to be a better investment. Stuff like that. Certain things will be better investments. But shoot, like I said, like you're in your 20s. Like, go do what you want to do. You just got to know what sacrifices or what consequences or what good things you get out of it, basically.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll say too, just you said cars are bad investment. Yes, like 9 times out of 10 they are, but if you have a passion about cars and you want to invest through cars, you can always say, hey, I want to buy a car that maybe an expensive older car, and you can refurbish it. And I don't know if you like tinkering, but doing tinkering stuff like that's fairly lucrative investment too. But I think with the whole stock thing, like you were saying, it's find a stock you believe in, and you can basically work with it. Like if you're passionate about a stock and it doesn't move a lot, like I said, still can have good dividend yield. Or you can have a stock that you believe in, and maybe it doesn't do well, but that gets you kind of in the market and looking at the market. And while you're looking at that stock, you notice, hey, wow, this other stock is doing great. I want to jump on that, and you can invest in there as well. The biggest thing is though, you can't go, if you're doing stocks, you can't go in there and say, hey, I want to make $1 million in one day. You're not going to find.
I was going to ask you about like, because we were talking about before we started, so I was going to have you expand on that, but continue. Sorry.
Well, there's short-term stocks. That's what he was talking about. Like you could do like day trading.
Yeah, but that's not
super. Yeah.
It's not.
You gotta have a ton of money, and it's a full-time job, basically.
And you're working on thin lines because you're getting taxed super aggressively, so you have to make sure you hit. But it's mostly you got to go in there and say, hey, look, you're not going to invest one day $10 and have $1,000 the next day. So it's about understanding that when you put this money in there, it's kind of like your savings account, but your savings account you get point whatever percent, 1% of whatever back. If you put it in the stock market, even if your stock goes down and you're still getting dividend yields, you're still going to make money over time. And if you do lose money in a stock, you can actually write that off for a stock that's gaining money. So there's a lot of ways to play the stock market to make money, but it is a patience game. It's not, you're not going to make money overnight. So I definitely say just keep inchworming your way up. And that's kind of what I did. And I started off just putting in paychecks for my first job, then putting in paychecks when I worked with Joe. Then when we did other stuff, just little tiny lumps, Christmas money. Instead of buying all these little things that I know I'm gonna not use or buying games and stuff, it's like, all right, I'm gonna buy a game I really like and I'm gonna invest in that. And that's really basically all I bought, just a video game over here and there, and different food and stuff. And I tried not to do stuff in excess. And sometimes you're like, okay, and you look at other people, you're like, man, I wish I was doing that. But then you look back, you're like, okay, down the road, 15, 20 years from now, I may have some type of sustainable income through either a dividend yield and a stock that I have a bunch of shares of, or if you have a property. So instead of like buying, I'll use a car as an example. So say I want to go out and buy like a Jaguar or something. Mm-hmm. I could buy that and I could pay it off and finance it. And by the time I sell it back to the dealership, I'm going to get half if I'm lucky. But if you go and you buy a house and you finance that, by the time it's done, people say, oh my gosh, you don't get any money till after 10 years, right? They're like, you invested in this, you don't get money for 10 years. That's not true. You actually got the additional value of the house. So all that money you've made back, and now you're also getting additional income for your renter, stuff like that. And then if you want to sell the house, you get your initial investment back. You're not even your initial investment. Your initial investment is probably a down payment. So you're actually going to get the remaining value that toward the cost of the house back, plus your initial investment, plus any money you make off it. And I mean, it's almost like a chain effect. Like, hey, you get one, and then one turns into two, two turns into three, and that's kind of my plan. Try to get the sustainable source of income. Try to have a diverse portfolio. So have some stocks, have some real estate. I'll probably do some stuff with bonds here down the road, and just have money coming in from a lot of different ways. That way, I'm not strapped. If say something happens in one aspect of my portfolio, I'm not hemorrhaging.
Yeah.
So I just have a bunch of stuff lined up, and
don't put your eggs all in one
basket. Yeah, and I just want to be able to have a good life with my family. I mean, the main thing is I think about having restraint right now, and I'm still living a fairly lavish lifestyle. I go out to eat when I want to go out to eat. I can pay rent. I can hang out and do stuff with my girlfriend, whether it's like a little date at Build-A-Bear, which is extremely expensive. I found out because she wanted to go there. I mean, we went there, or just doing stuff like that. And you can do all that stuff and still put money aside. It's just about being disciplined. It's the same thing. Like, and I don't want to bring back sports because we don't want to talk too much sports today, but it's the same thing as sports. If you're an athlete, you're disciplined. It's the same practice. It's like getting up in the morning. It's about getting up in the morning, going to do your weights, doing this, doing that. And for me, it's given me structure. Like, okay, hey, I work these days. I get paid this day. I'm taking this percentage of my paycheck, putting it here, putting it here, putting it here. And over time, it really adds up, and I'm really lucky and blessed to be in the place that I am right now.
Yeah, and that discipline. We live in such a fast-paced life, anyways, and there's just stuff like apps on your phone that you can literally like just do. Hey, pull money out of your account, $5, whatever, put it into here. Like I use the Acorns app, and basically, I literally every Wednesday it pulls out $25 and it puts it into like my investment. So there's so many different ways where like if you don't want to do it all on your own, just put on a reoccurring mint. Like out of my savings, like I'll have like $2 or out of my checking account, I'll have like $2 just be deposited into my savings a day. $2, that's it. But over time, like that stuff adds up, right? And that's just like little things that you just take out your money and put it in. And that the sweet about the Acorns app also is a smart investment is when I hook my cards to it, so I link like my debit card and my credit card, and when I use it, it like rounds up, so it's called roundups, and basically it rounds up like your dollar amount, and then it puts the extra change into your account. So every time I like use like my card, let's say there's like I have like a 3 times multiplier, so if it's like $2.50 or something like that, then I'll add like, hey, you just added like $2 into your Acorns account. Yeah. Every time I just swipe my card, basically, and that's like huge stuff. That these little things, if you just kind of add and
yeah, five years down the road, that's a ton of money.
Yeah, 5 years down the road, you got like $5,000 or something like that. And you're like, yeah, I just got $5,000 out of nowhere. You know what I'm talking about?
What are your plans?
What are my 5-year plans? Are we talking about 5 years?
No, you're fine. I'm just saying, what do you? Because we kind of talked about it, and that was kind of the segue we wanted to have in with the smalls and everything to this conversation. What questions? I think you asking questions of Shane and I, you kind of talking about your plan. I think that'll be a good catalyst for kind of continuing the conversation.
Yeah.
So, are you a little overwhelmed?
No, I wouldn't say I'm overwhelmed. I'm just kind of like taking it all and listening, because I mean, obviously, I'm the outlier on this conversation, just because I don't really feel like I have a lot of knowledge in the area, more or less. I feel like I'm still in like a learning state. Granted, I mean, I've talked to like financial advisors and people like that and like whatnot, and I've learned what I can, but like anything, I feel like you kind of have to go do it and just watch it and learn it yourself, or like work with somebody pretty closely. I mean, because like you're
honestly, I don't even know much about it. Like Brandon helped me set up mine, and like once I set it up, he just kind of showed me some things. And then same thing, like just some financial stuff. Honestly, the biggest thing that Brandon's stepdad told me, like Ron, he's like, you just got to put yourself in the fire. Like just put yourself in the fire, like try some things, like here and there, like try this stock, try this, and like put stuff that you're passionate into. And then you'll start to figure out like, oh, okay, I'm starting to understand like dividends, or understanding like how this money works, or taxes, or whatever. Yeah. And then it just kind of goes from there. Like I haven't even been focused on my E-Trade account, but I've put whatever my certain amount of money, and now like these stocks have gone up and I've grown into it, and I haven't put in like in a few months. But it's like certain things like that, if you're looking for long-term investment, then you want to kind of go on that safer side where you're looking for stocks more for long-term, right?
Yeah.
But you just got to kind of, do some research, and you got to figure out some things on your own for anybody.
Since we haven't explained dividends, I'll just do
So I was gonna ask
a very
what
basic.
explain what
Okay,
that
so
is.
say we have $100 stock. We'll just call it Shane stock.
Shane
So Shane's
stock of Moody.
Shane's a $100 stock, right? And he offers 3% dividends. So however much money you invest in Shane stock, you get 3% back at. Normally, it depends on what annually, and some different stocks do different breakdowns at different times, but you'll make 3% back, and that's the promise. And they'll send you, if they ever change the dividend, they'll actually send you a letter in the mail saying, hey, we're changing this dividend thing for the next pay period, stuff like that. So say you invest, this is the basic one, I'm not gonna try to get super complicated for some of the ones that I do have, but so you invest $100 in Shane stock, you get $3 back.
Yeah.
If you invest $300, you get $9 back. So what's good about that is that
So the stock keeps growing, but you're getting money back.
so like even if the stock doesn't grow, you still make money.
Yeah.
And then when you,
Gotcha.
so a really good thing for dividend stocks are say like your big, huge companies.
Yeah.
So say you have a prominent company. I don't want to throw too many names out here but just say you have a huge company that says huge revenue stream, super popular, and you invest in that, and the gross, it grows annually, say by a few percentage points. So you make a little bit of money in the growth, and you get those dividends each year. That's a huge source of income because those dividends begin to compile over the course of time. You don't even have to pay attention to it. And then, so how the kind of taxing works when you make your money is, so when you sell your stock, so say Shane stock went up to $150 and you want to sell it. So if you sell it within the first year, you get short-term tax rates, which are higher. I don't know what the exact rate is, but you get taxed a fairly substantial amount. Pretty sure it's like over 35%. But if you do long-term capital gains, you usually wait after a year. I believe it's a 20% flat rate, and then I have a broker fee through my guy. So it's much more beneficial to trade stocks after a year. That's why that short-term trading is difficult. So say you have
You have a lot of money.
so say you have Shane stock, and it's 150, and you sell it, and you buy it at 100. What gets taxed is that 50.
Yeah.
And that's really powerful because you're getting your initial investment back, you're getting a profit, and then if you have your dividends too, your dividends are all calculated and everything. So, I mean, for me, I've been very blessed to have a lot of stocks that have grown and have good dividend yields. And then I have some safe stocks as well. So I actually have like 4,000 shares of a stock that just doesn't really do very much. It kind of like stays in this little tiny ass interval, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it pays 11% dividend yield. So what I do there is basically I make no money on the stock. I'm not planning on selling it, but I get that 11%
Yeah.
back a year, and I just reinvest in there. I've just been kind of growing that one that way, and it's a very cheap stock. It's nothing crazy, but I know it's a stock that's safe, and that's one of my ways of protecting myself, my portfolio. So I have a bunch of shares of this kind of cheap little stock that pays high dividend yield, and then I have a lot of kind of expensive stocks with less dividend yield that have higher growth opportunities. Balancing that is important, and just like Shane said, just being passionate about it. I most of my stocks are all electronics, companies that I buy from, companies that I know, companies that I'm like, okay, I know what products are coming out. I know that this company's gonna be doing well their next quarter. And I know they're gonna hit their earnings because they released this huge product and it's been super successful. So stuff like that.
A lot of technology companies.
Yeah, no, I don't think you have to invest in this technology companies. Like there's a lot of companies there, but if there's something you know really well, and you're like, hey, there's something coming out huge for this. Innovation is a big thing. So like companies that innovate are always companies that are generally successful. So just figure out what you know a lot of and kind of go for it there. And don't, if you have, like, say you have $10,000 in your bank account, don't just go put all $10,000 in the stock market tomorrow just because we said this, but maybe you start investing $1,000 or $100 and you kind of get the feel for it. And then as you get more in the groove and you're looking at it more, you can make better decisions. And like kind of what Ron said with you getting into the fire is more so, hey, you invest in some stuff and you start actually paying attention more. You start reading more about it. You start learning more about it. You start figuring out what you're comfortable with. Are you more of a high risk person? Are you more of a dividend person? Are you more of a person who wants to try new companies, like startups? Are you someone who likes cash cows, like established companies? And by doing that, you actually make yourself better at investing just because you're spending more time looking at it. You're educating yourself on it, and it's just like practicing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's something like that's really impactful. If you start doing it at 22, 24 years old, you have a huge ceiling for your earning potential because you're basically adding in another source of income for you. So I have my my money that I make at work, and then I have my money that I make in the stock market. And it's great. It's really awesome because you can use it to balance stuff too. So say you have a really good year at work and you get a lot of bonuses and you want to offset some of your gains, and you have some stocks that are not doing well, you can sell those off for losses and you can balance stuff. So it gives you a lot of financial flexibility that you wouldn't have otherwise. And I think it's definitely something to look into. And if you're into cars and stuff, invest into some cars, flip some cars. It's a great deal too. Yeah. So find out what you're passionate about.
Well,
I got you.
You're bringing up that like that second source of income is, I think, so huge for our generation.
Oh, I agree 100% with that.
Like, everything is going up in prices so much that, like, I don't think work is enough money for what we want to do, what a lot of people want to do in their life, that you can only just get one source of income.
Yeah, and I think
having that second piece is just super important.
I think one thing that I've heard over the last couple of months is, like, you don't want to, I'm going to try to word this the right way from how I remember it, but you don't want to, like, shrink your dreams down to what your, like, income is, if that makes sense. You want to increase your income to be able to go after whatever dream or goal you have.
Yeah.
So,
and I think too, if you say you have a job that doesn't pay well, you can still budget and live within your means and put money aside, and eventually that money's gonna grow over the course of time if you're smart with it. Mm-hmm. And I think you can't be afraid of the number on your paycheck. And you say, hey, I want to build additional equity. I may not be able to go have a sushi dinner this one night. Maybe I just cook at home from King Supers, and that $50 extra that I save from that, or that $100 extra I save from that, I invest that. And you don't sacrifice everything. Like, don't marginalize yourself to where you're living uncomfortably to pursue these additional ventures, but find little things that you can cut out. Yeah, find little things you can cut out. And I remember I went to a financial, like, class recommendation thing. It was like a little 1-hour seminar about going to college and budgeting, because I wanted to budget really well in college. And they said, like, hey, plot what you eat and drink every day and this stuff. And then there had some girl go up there and they did like a little mock example. It's like, well, I go to Starbucks every day and I spend $5.74 on my grande, blah, blah, blah.
Mocha latte.
Well,
you probably do. You stop at the Starbucks off Parker.
I'm not
oh yeah, do it.
Probably.
You watching?
Yeah.
I'm not criticizing or anything, but that girl found out that, hey, that grande mocha was not important to her at the time, and she was able to save $6 a day, which adds up, which at the end of the week is $42.
Yeah, like,
and then the course of a month is $150, $140 to $160, $150. Yeah, and then the course of a year, you're looking at what was it, 1.2. I'm not trying to do the math, but basically, like,
don't worry about
math. Over $1,800.
It's a lot of money.
So you're able to.
Well, you just realize, like, those, like, so easy little things, like you were saying, like, so many little easy things that you don't think,
these things, right?
So many things, right? Just drinks and, like,
keep that hidden.
This is okay.
Just drinks, like, you have a Monster, like, everything like that. The biggest things are just focusing.
Pipeline Punch is a good flavor. It's fine.
I'm gonna get fired for him saying that about.
I bought this from the gas station. It's fine.
Yeah, I do large stores, so buy it from large store outlets.
But hey,
Kings. Kings is cheaper.
But what I'm saying is, like, basically, like, we forget that the little things every day adds up. And it's like as simple as, like, we have a cafe at our work, right?
See,
and, like, to get a shake
that's bad
there,
for you because I'm not in that facility.
I know, and to get a shake there, it's like $8.
Well, no, it's actually $6. But then you go in there and you got to add in the creatine and the collagen,
and then you add the tip,
and then you add just the tip at the end, and it comes out to like a $12 protein shake. And it's the same thing if you go to like Into Juice or like Jamba Juice or any of those places. It's like you could probably make that smoothie at your house for half the price because you're going and buying that stuff in bulk.
Sounds like beer.
What
I will drink one beer. It's here on this podcast.
No, you're an avid beer drinker. Stand up with that. Shut that pod.
I lift every day.
But you're pretty swole.
But even like looking at as like friend groups and stuff and like what we've been doing, a lot of times like people want to go out every weekend. People want to do this every weekend. We have a lot of weekends where we just chill at the Moody household and we just drink beer and we just hang out. But like that saves you money though. It's the little things that you realize that like you don't need to go out drinking and partying with people you don't even like. A lot of people go to bars and they go hang out with people who they don't even care about and just start drinking away their week because they have something that is on the back of their head that they think, oh, is this really fun, or am I just drinking away my
Well,
sorrows?
that's like one thing is like I refuse to go downtown. Like downtown Denver is a pain in the ass. One, because it's a pain in the ass to drive there. Two, because all the people are down there, no offense, a lot of people, but a lot of you guys are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Why would I pay $20 to get to a damn bar, then have to go pay $9 per drink?
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
And half those drinks are watered down. I'd rather go buy a 30 rack of Keystone at the liquor store on the corner and have 2 of those, because it's not fun to sit there and drink
It's just
15
not.
fucking beers
It's not.
and
Well,
not even get a buzz
it's
off
not
of
with
it.
it anymore. I feel like
No.
I've gotten to such a point in my life where it's like, why do I don't even want to go out. Like, it's not even trying to be like an introvert or anything like that, but I'd rather be like, hey, like, boys, let's go do something that actually we like to do and actually doesn't cost a shit ton of money. It doesn't cost money to sit around with people you like and hang out and chill, right? Like, why are people going to bars and doing all this extra stuff that like really doesn't
Because
matter?
it's the social
It's
status.
the social
it's like the
cue.
fact that, you know, I myself, I buy a ski pass every year
Yeah.
to go to Winter Park or whatever the Icon Pass is. Then you have the people that buy the Epic Pass and then go up and want to have that social status of going to Vail every weekend or Breckenridge or Crested Butte. Breckenridge is great, don't get me wrong, I love Breckenridge, but like,
No one gives a shit.
just spend a little bit less money and go buy the Icon Pass and go hang out at Winter Park. Not as many people there. Sorry, it doesn't have a social status.
Yeah. No,
So
I mean,
shit
it's
on
true.
anybody.
Hey, Winter Park is where on his dad goes. Winter Park Escapes. If you want to go to Winter Park and get your Icon Pass, go to winterparkescapes.com.
But I mean,
I was actually on the website like 2 weeks ago.
You were?
Yeah.
Did you get anything?
No, I was just on there. I was just looking.
I mean, I can give you some recommended stays there.
Okay.
I'll show you some spots
We'll
afterwards.
talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll dabble.
dabble a little bit. But I mean, it's anything. Like, it goes back to brands too. Like, we buy stuff because we want to have this social cue. Like, you got Versace and fucking Nike and whatever.
Versace.
That's what came up to
This is
me.
getting very
Oh my god,
ideological.
okay. I need to
But
stop.
hold on,
Pause this
hold on,
for after
hold on.
this statement. I
After
gotta pause
this
this because I actually have a really good
After
killing
this
these
statement,
swallows that just came to my head.
Hold on. But you got like this Nike, and we buy stuff for these brands when you can get a other brand that is $50 cheaper and is still as high as quality.
Okay, guys.
Hold on, this is probably one of the only quality brands that I would say I would pay for.
You buy Gymshark?
not Gymshark.
I've seen
But
you
I'm
go
gonna
leggings.
be honest. I'm gonna be honest. They do have really good products, and the price is worth it. Lululemon.
Oh, I fuck with it. I'm
Lululemon.
wearing Lulu shorts right now.
Dude,
I want Lululemon, but it's also expensive.
It's expensive, but guess what? It lasts a long
It
time.
does. Lululemon for men and women. Their products are high quality,
Look
and
at-
it's worth
Look
paying
into the
for.
camera and give an endorsement.
Lululemon.
Their products are high quality though, and that's something.
WWW.
But when
I
I
have
look,
a discount for strength and conditioning coaches.
I know they
I
do,
forget what
and
it's
I
called.
haven't been using
Sweat
it.
equity or something like that.
Yeah,
Here, 1 second.
you get a ton.
www.lululemon.com.
It's on the website. It's on Lulu.com.
No, Lulu's is a different brand. That's a different entity.
No.
Are you wearing Lululemon or are you wearing Lulu's?
Lululemon.
Okay.
But
You know,
but
the
no.
store at the Park Meadows Mall.
You guys want to go to Lululemon after this?
Yeah, we'll go get some. But seriously though, like, that's a high quality product where people will actually pay for their quality. But a lot of
I
times
agree.
people are not paying for quality. They're paying
People-
for a logo.
For the damn logo. Literally, it's
Damn
like
logo.
if you go to. Okay, I just lost what I was thinking of. But
It's anything.
But no,
Under
even if it's
Armour,
like,
Nike, I'm not
okay,
s-
there, for example, you, me, and Jake. Okay,
Yeah.
Jake Ham's on the show, like episode 2, if you don't know who that is. There was one time over the summer we went to, was it Ross or
Oh,
Marshalls
yeah,
or whatever?
We found
Dude,
some
I found
good
Reebok
ass
stuff.
shit.
The same shorts that for like $15 you can probably get online at Reebok's website
Yeah.
or Reebok's outlet store for like 3 times that price. I spent $15.
Ross, Kohl's. Kohl's
Stop
is my
shopping at the
favorite
name
store.
brand stores. Go to Marshalls, get the same shit, 75% off.
So to bring this all full circle, we're talking about finding ways to cut back on your current spending
On your money.
to allocate some additional money to put on the side to invest. And I think that really it's not doing every single thing that they just said. If you want to go out, go out. But if you can find a way to cut some money on clothes, cut it on clothes. If you can cut it on food, cut it on food. But just find a way to maybe cut back $25 to $50 of your spending, your average spending a week, and put that money somewhere where it can grow and kind of be utilized for the future. Because I guarantee if you do stuff like that right now, it's going to pay huge dividends. No pun intended, for the future.
But
I mean, the thing is, like, there's
Oh,
times where, like, I definitely have, like, focus on not spending as much money on certain things, and I'm like, oh shit, I have a lot of money.
Yeah, but what'd you do with it?
It sat in my savings account. It's just returning like 0.01%.
Okay.
Thank you,
Do
USA.
you make 3 cents?
Actually, right now my savings account is making $2 per month. So.
Let's all do a quick calculation on the iPad.
Wow.
What's in there?
That's amazing. $24 a year. That's awesome.
That's amazing. Okay, since we're in a pause break here, my You're Killing Me Smalls. This is a real one.
Alright, let's see.
Bro, please tell me you guys saw Antonio Brown this week. Benching, he slams the damn bar back, stands up, and the damn jerk things, or not the jerk things, the jammer things come flying down and smoke this dude in the head.
Dude, that was
Like,
bad.
I just saw a tweet. It was literally like, well, there's a reason Patrick Mahomes didn't get the Madden curse because it's still going after Antonio Brown. This dude has CTE times 3 after getting hit in the head there.
Yeah.
You're killing me, Smalls AB.
I know.
Get your shit together.
That was bad. That was bad.
Trying to be friends with the Pittsburgh Steelers again on Instagram. Posting pictures of Roethlisberger and Juju Smith-Schuster. Like, come on, man.
I hope he sees this and comes after you on Instagram.
Actually, I would love to get blocked by AB on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. Blocked, shit on all my comments, whatever. AB, come after me.
He'll dye his mustache and come beat you up.
I'll probably do one of those weird, like those one of those haircuts he had that one time. It was like
I like the Lego.
you know what he looked like? A Minecraft character.
Oh my god. Now we're getting offensive.
Who's Minecraft?
Do we have a mute button? Who's Minecraft?
I'm just kidding.
What is Minecraft?
What is Minecraft? I'm just kidding. I have a ton of athletes who play Minecraft.
You probably play Minecraft on your Xbox 360.
Man, who do you think?
You're like 2 generations behind.
I bought Shane an
Calm
Xbox
down.
One and I don't
And it
think
was broken.
it's not broken.
Yes.
Xbox
it's
One X
actually-
series or whatever is coming out in like 6 months. So
You gonna get on that?
I don't know. I don't really play my Xbox as it is.
Oh, I know you play.
I played Modern Warfare 1 game yesterday for about 20 minutes.
You played one game for 20 minutes? What the hell are you playing? 10v10?
Yeah, playing 10v10, dude.
Little mosh pit?
I'd rather play 10v10 than the regular, like, little grouping.
You wanna run a little Call of Duty after this?
I'm down.
Alright.
Add me on
I want
the Xbox gamer tag, GV Bacchus, BACKES 7.
Nice.
I'll play some Call of Duty with you guys.
Nice. And the ones who don't play Xbox, you
Well, no,
hang
because
out.
they crossplay now.
You can play PS4 too.
You can put PS4 and Xbox together now on Call of Duty. Oh, my Call of Duty gamer tag is Bacchus 07.
Nice.
Can you spell it?
BACKES 07.
Oh, see? The 0 is important. You said back is 7. You didn't say 07.
No, GV Bacchus 7 is my Xbox gamer tag.
I
Bacchus
missed.
07
Ooh.
is
Ooh.
my Call of Duty gamer
Not
tag.
double? Not double O?
Not double 7.
Single
My
O.
favorite number is 7.
Dude, I miss 007 on the PlayStation 2.
It comes
You guys
out
remember
in
that?
April.
No, the game.
The movie?
GoldenEye or something.
Well,
Well, alright. Well, let's try to refocus in for a little segmentation right here. What can we segment about? So, Shane, you've talked about acorns. I've talked a little about stocks, talked a little about real estate. So, Christian, what great thing can you share with the viewers to help them further themselves in the future? Is it maybe a little promo for your gym? A little
I
membership?
don't have any promos for anything right now. Actually, okay.
There we
So, big promo here. Full Ride Sports Nutrition. Be on the lookout for it in the next month or so. We're coming out with 5 products to start.
Oh.
You're going to get a pre-workout, you're going to get a protein, you're going to get a BCA, you're going to get a collagen and a creatine. Everything's based around sports names just because Full Ride kind of leads into scholarship, Full Ride offer. But
Hey,
I'm not going to tell you the
Same.
names, they're pretty cool.
saying that though, let's go into the notion that everyone has on creatine real quick.
Okay, so that's
The
fine.
negative
No,
notion
I'm
that-
perfectly fine.
We gotta
So-
clear this water real quick.
Okay,
All
so
athletes,
all you
and
athletes,
and
parents,
stuff like that.
older people, I mean, you
Understandable.
all need to be taking creatine. I get on my dad every day about this.
Yep.
And I made a joke to him the other day. He comes home, he's like, yo, I hit 320 on deadlift today, PR'd.
Yeah.
He was like, tried for 325, I missed it. I said, well, if you'd been taking creatine, you probably would have hit that.
Yeah.
So, and Shane, you can back me up on anything I say here and tell me if I'm wrong. But I have a degree. I'm just gonna make sure everybody knows what we do here. So both of us are strength and conditioning specialists. I personally have my NSCA Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist certification, Bachelor of Science in Sports and Exercise Science, minored in sports nutrition as well. So really, as an athlete, you want to be taking a multitude of supplements. Obviously, make sure they're safe for sport, or at least don't have anything included that is against rules.
Yeah.
Even in, if it doesn't have the safe for sport certification, you can find some pretty clean stuff. So you want to go look at, is it USADA? Yeah, USADA. You can look at the ingredients on there. NCAA has a decent website, but it's not as good as USADA's. Anyhow, creatine, it's a naturally occurring substance in the body. There's a bunch of, and I'm probably going to be completely off base because I haven't studied the book in a little bit of time here. But
when they talk about creatine, how being water weight with creatine, basically what creatine does is it makes the cell at its maximum level. So it allows the cell to create water, allows the cell to hold water.
I wouldn't even say you're holding on to water. I say your body is naturally holding more water due to the fact that you're not drinking enough water, because what your body does when it feels like it's going into dehydrated state, it's going to hold on to water. So that's why you see people getting bloated and they hold on to water weight, is because they're not drinking enough water. If you drink enough water, keep yourself hydrated. I try to tell my athletes to say, to drink like their body weight ounces a day or whatever like that. Mm-hmm. That's what they had up at the University of Wyoming, like over the urinal. It's like, drink your body weight in water.
See, I have to drink 196 ounces.
Dude, I weighed myself today. I was 260.
I know. You look great.
I don't feel 260. I feel 240. That's the funny thing. Anyhow, back to the creatine.
A lot of water weight. Are you hydrated?
Shut up. It's all muscle. And I'm not hydrated. I drank 2 Monsters today. And a couple other energy drinks this morning. Some aminos.
Throw a little shout out to those Monsters.
Monster's great. I want to thank Brandon for supplying Monster this evening, Saturday night, Sunday.
Saturday night, Sunday.
Providing
but going back though to the
Powered by the Beast. 5-pound punch.
Creatine is the number one supplement that's going to help you recover after a lift.
There's a multitude of things that are going to help you recover.
There's a multitude of things, but creatine is that part of that protein that is going to help you recover basically at a maximal level. And a lot of studies that they've also done is taking creatine after your workout, after you've shredded the muscles down, after you've taken all that calorie, all that away. Now you're replenishing that with the creatine, and that's super important.
Well, and I don't even think creatine's a big recovery gainer here. It's going to help, if you go look at studies, and I remember like specifically on a test, this is the one question I always remembered. It was always like, if an athlete who is a sprinter takes creatine, that I think most are like 5 milligrams a day or 5 grams a day.
5 grams. 5 to 10 grams.
Yeah, and I recommend more on the higher side just because you want to supplement your body, because your body already has about 3 grams in it naturally occurring, so it's not a negative thing. A lot of people look at it as, oh, creatine's bad, it's like a steroid. It's really not. It's not even close. I mean, you can get creatine from natural red meat. Your body already has it in you, so we're going to supplement it more. What creatine does is it's really the phosphocreatine system. I'm going to get super scientific here, but basically you have, I think, if I remember correctly, it's about 3 to 8 seconds for that system to really fire and go. So if you're benching, you're going to 1 rep max, you're going to burn that out in a 1 rep max.
Yep.
If you're going for a heavy set, you're burning it out. You have a football play, you're going a 9 route or a go route, whatever your system calls it, down the field, you burn it out. A sprinter, you're running at the 100 meter, right? System's blown. Okay, you're now moving into more of your slower reacting systems. Okay, so you're like anaerobic, you're aerobic, oxidative, from there. So if we're going to supplement it, we can then make that system actually last longer. So you're looking, instead of 8 seconds, say 12 seconds. Okay, so I just gave myself an extra 4 seconds of maximal work that I can put in. Where you see a lot of those gains are, oh shit, I can sprint harder now. I can lift a little bit heavier for a little bit longer, whatever it is, right? And that's kind of where we're going with creatine. If you're not supplementing, you're really just behind the curve.
So when are your supplements coming out?
Month and a half.
You gonna throw me a deal?
Yeah, happily.
Right. We'll talk outside of this. I don't want to have any information shared via the web.
Creatine.
I would recommend. A lot of people say too that you need to cycle off creatine. I don't believe that.
I've tried the cycling phases. I didn't really see a big notion.
And there's nothing there. I mean, just stay on it. And the one big thing is athletes don't take creatine only on the days you're working out. Every day, you got to make sure your system's flush with always. We'll end on that. No more sports talk.
What's the solubility of creatine? So I know when you put it in water, you have to drink it within a certain amount of time.
So, I don't have the answer to that right now, but I'll look up for you. From my understanding, is you like.
Can you rephrase that sentence?
Well, basically, there's a lot of beverages now that are trying to say that they have creatine in
Okay.
it. And it's been. I'm not listing one. No,
Somebody's calling out a certain drink here.
No, not
Name the
Monster.
drink.
No,
it's not
no.
Monster.
there's a bunch of.
Monster's got creatine. They talk about it.
No, they don't have creatine.
Oh, I thought there was
Bang.
one.
So Bang has it, but there's also some other drinks now. So it's actually a big trend that's coming. I think there's some the sports performance drinks.
Mm-hmm.
So those are also coming out. They're not just the energy segments. And
You want it in powder form because as soon as you mix it in, I believe that its solubility is only like you can only drink it in. I'm gonna say 10 to 15, 20 minutes because like the bangs, for example, by the time you're getting that bang, it's been in the store for. I mean, I don't really know the answers on this when shit gets in the stores, but it sits on the shelf for let's say 5 days. Your creatine's already gone.
yeah, and the manufacturer. It's just for me. I think there's a lot of notion of all these kids that are trying to buy all these drinks too. Like, oh, I want this, and this creatine. I think what we have to start promoting, especially for you guys with your athletes, is hey, look, guys, let's get creatine from a kind of basically your powder
Creatine phosphate.
Because there's all this false advertising out there right now, and I'm not here to bash any products or say anything, but I just think that a lot of people read stuff and they try to find easy ways out. Like, oh, like if one of your athletes comes in, hey, well, I'm drinking creatine from this drink I get at the store, and
I said the powder form.
yeah, and you guys say let them know, hey, the powder form is better. I think that's a big misconception right now, and there's a lot of mismarketing going on by a lot of companies.
Just like
Well,
get the
use
powder
some-
form because like it's easy. Like you have a protein, you have a collagen, and you have your creatine. All three of those are powders. If you're trying to get that all separate, why the hell are you drinking 3 drinks? Get the powder form, mix it all in one. Doesn't change the taste at all. You're drinking one drink. It takes half the time.
Yeah.
all that comes with full ride.
Full ride sports nutrition, you need all 5. Collagen, creatine, protein, aminos, pre-workout.
Well, you also talking
Get my
about
full ride finally.
I mean, really, the five keys. Full ride sports nutrition. Those are your 5. Follow us on Instagram.
But,
full ride _SN.
false advertising though, Brandon, you bring that up. Like I think that is going on so much in our world today.
Oh, the sports performance world's horrible.
And everywhere though, like it's all about quantity. There's so many people that are getting out of this quality act that like all we're focused on is fast producing quantity stuff that we can put out there, just shit.
Well, that goes back
That's
to even
go back to the news, you go to anything you want to talk about. It's just, hey, once you hear something, put it out there, social media or something like that. We got to get back to a more realistic world where we can actually stop false advertising and actually educate people on the right things. And I think that's a huge issue.
I think
that is going on. It's just like,
everybody needs to check their sources of what they're getting their information
Exactly.
from. I mean, even like Brandon today, go fact check them on Google, and don't even just go to, like, my dad joked with me.
Me specifically.
I'm not saying you specifically, but like in general, like you can go fact check Shane and I on our creatine. Like go look it up, research it for yourself, because the only way you're going to gain knowledge is by going and doing the research and learning it yourself and doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
And
that's
actual
with freaking
but
anything.
good research though too. We live in a
Google
generation
Scholar.
here. Yeah, we live in a generation here where everyone like Googles their problems. They're like, oh, I have a problem. I'm gonna go Google it. Oh, there's the answer right there. They read into
Guys,
too much stuff. There is way too much information.
Quick
out there.
word of advice for all you
That
guys.
is wrong.
Get a peer-reviewed
Use,
journal.
this is going to be crazy. Use Wikipedia. Go read the damn Wikipedia. The little numbers at the end of each sentence are the sources. Go check the sources, read the actual source. Then you can dig deeper in that source and go off whatever that topic that source was.
So disclaimer for me, since Christian called me out, I tried to give you as honest information as I can. I probably wasn't perfect. Just my main spiel was just to advise you to be open to some new challenges, some new ways to make money and new ways to challenge and grow yourself and your portfolio.
I mean, that's a big challenge because I'm going to go download Acorns and E-Trade and start.
I might get some acorns going, actually.
I mean, it makes sense. Why not?
Dude,
I've seen a lot of acorns commercials.
And well, what's cool
I
is
think
that
Ashton Kutcher endorses Acorns.
well, what's cool about the Acorns app is it actually does like your own. Like you could put it at a high risk portfolio, and then it will do your stocks for you and do your like bond and do everything for you. So it's kind of cool. Like if I have a certain amount of money, like right now I'm up like $200. I have a certain money in there, but I'm up $200 for stuff that they put in, right? Yeah. And you can build a Roth IRA in there and stuff like that. So it's actually pretty sweet. So definitely go into that. Yeah. But even talking about like what we were saying with like the false advertising and everything, I just want to say, make sure you are going not just like one source, but multiple sources for what we're doing. Like whether that's Google Scholar, whether that's like Wikipedia, whether that's just Google, like quit. People need to quit like saying, oh, this person said this. Like, where's your evidence? Like we need more educated and more.
It's just social media now. Everybody wants to have the first.
Everyone wants to have the first things. Well, I feel like we don't even know what's true anymore.
No,
it's so
for me, like for example, about a month ago, I wrote an article on accommodating resistance, and I'm not going to go into what that is. You can go read the article or go Google it yourself.
Google it.
But essentially, I wrote this article. It's a West Side bar. God, I talk about West Side every week. It was designed and developed really in Eastern Europe, and the Russians and the Soviets, they're gods when it comes to, and the Chinese, they're gods when it comes to lifting. They're just strong as shit, and America's way behind. But really, like when I wrote that article, if you were to go look at my computer, I had probably 10 tabs open because I'm taking information from everywhere and I'm reading from everywhere, including my stuff from Westside that I have, including my CSCS book, including my TSAC book, whatever I have like available to me, I'm using, and I'm compiling it, and I'm turning it into my own words, right? Exactly.
But also on top of that, like turning your own words, like it's also understanding that just because one thing works for you doesn't mean it works for someone else. Like exactly. we got to stop everyone's trying to put like everyone in one basket together, one page where it's like, hey, since it worked for me, it's going to work for you, it's going to work for you. Everything's different. And this was what Marcus and I were talking about yesterday, like the sprinting world and everything. Like there were so many.
Marcus Miller, he is a former sprinter jumper at the University of New Mexico. Dude jumps like, you can go find, I think his Instagram's like at Marcus Miller, at Miller Jumps or something like that. This dude like jumps over everything. And when I'm saying jumping, like he's not jumping, he's flying.
Yeah, he's flying.
Like 8 feet in the air flying. Like single leg jump shit.
But we were just talking
about... You can jump over this table.
Hey, we were just talking about sprinting mechanics. We were just talking about sprinting mechanics, and you know how we go through like our Excel and we go through A position and everything like that. One thing that like we were talking about like Usain Bolt, right? Fastest runner in the world in the 100 meter. And we talked about how a lot of coaches will talk about his mechanics and try to change and say, hey, if he did this in his mechanic, he'd be a lot faster. And it's like, no, you can't change everyone to run the same way. And the issue is that we're trying to get so mechanical that we want everyone to produce everything the same way. No, force production is all different. Your strides are different. Your body mechanics, your femur length, everything like that is completely different. And you have to understand that. Even people, when we would talk about backside, so Marcus and I were talking about like, hey, if we see someone backside, well, you see John Ross run the 40-yard dash. He has the fastest 40-yard dash. I think he has the fastest 40-yard dash, but 4.22. Yeah, it's 4.22. Terrible backside. But he has such good, we call at-home base, and that's what Marcus says a lot, is that he's so synchronized properly, and he strikes at home base properly. And then the timing of his knees connecting together, like at the proper height, is so important that he can have backside, but he still produces so much force that he's so fast. And it's us looking at that, it just changed my mindset that like you can't make everything in the same compartment. Yeah. Everyone's going to be in different phases.
Like, and this goes on everything, not just like sports performance, not football.
No, this goes on to stocks.
The stocks goes to what you do with your job, what we do with our job, what I'm doing with sports, like nutrition, like.
Well, Brandon brought this up with Monster last episode, and he was talking about like how he has to cater to like an older population and like you managing people and how each person is just completely different. Their relationship that you build with each person is completely different. My friendship that I have with you is completely different than what I have with Brandon, but that's just how it is. You compartmentalize these friendships, you compartmentalize these things. And
compartmentalize.
You know what I mean.
We let you say it wrong like 3 times.
Sorry.
Same time.
Compartmentalize.
Sorry.
Good time on that.
Kimbo's English.
Oh, shout out to Kimbo.
Old English?
Old English.
Don't tell her I said that.
She listens to the podcast, I'm sure.
She's like, Shane.
Shane!
Mom,
where's that meatloaf?
Mom. But like that's huge. Is like you just realize that you have these different connections and different friendships and different ways that everyone goes about things. Like, you gotta understand that each person has their own niche, right?
Yeah.
Niche.
I say niche too. It just sounds better in my mind.
So what you're saying, okay. Well,
Tomato.
just on that same subject though, when you're talking about Christian researching stuff, so with my graduate programs and stuff for graduate school, it's extremely research driven. So like every single thing you say or post in a discussion forum in a paper has to be like drawn from a source. So basically you're gonna have like 70% of your papers drawing stuff from sources, and the other 30% is synthesizing what you've drawn, and you're doing different paraphrasing, direct quotes, stuff like that. And that challenged me a lot because it holds you accountable. When you start producing information that's fully sourced, you, one, build a higher level of credibility, but you also put yourself out there where you have, you're making yourself more accountable in the sense like, I can't just post some stupid little comment on Twitter like, oh, this person's an idiot, I hate them because of this, and because you heard one person say it. You could be like, okay, I think, well, yeah, that's kind of trolling, yes, but
no trolls.
I think it's more so being like, okay, my opinion on this subject is this, this, and this. I believe this because of this. This is what these people are saying. This is how I interpret it. And then also when you do stuff like that, if you are going to be confrontational on social media, which a lot of people are, maybe ask a question. So don't just like sit there and say your opinion and attack someone and say, hey, these are my thoughts. This is what's going on. I think this and because of this. And what do you think? Maybe actually use social media for an actual conversation. I think there are websites and stuff or people and pages that do that. But it's few and far between. It's few and far between now. It's just like everybody just attacks everybody. I think you've not only doing to build your credibility, but also entice other people to interact with you, because when other people share their opinions too, and they're also sourcing their information, you're getting a deeper knowledge interacting with them because you're learning a different perspective on the same information, different perspective because of different information, and then you create a conversation. I think that we're really missing a lot of conversations now.
The context.
I think
everything.
you see this a lot, especially like on Twitter,
especially with.
But in the strength and conditioning world,
in anything.
I mean, in really anything, but the strength and conditioning world, Twitter is a shit show.
Oh,
so many dudes, and even this happens in our own our own
let's put 50
company.
Hurdles right here, a cone here, this and this.
It's
this is gonna build everything.
People, it's like my issue is like, I don't care what you're doing. Like, yeah, it may be freaking stupid.
Yeah.
But give me a why. Like, what's your reason behind it, and let's talk about it, because I'd really come to a general like true conclusion.
Yeah.
And you may give me a really good reason as to why you're doing that, and it may make sense. Or we both might come to the conclusion that, oh, that's actually kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Let's not continue to do that, right?
Exactly.
I mean, stop shitting on each other so much on Twitter, on whatever it is, whether it be strength and conditioning, and we need to be more friends in the strength and conditioning world, because I think we could all really grow the sport of powerlifting.
That's probably the biggest ego world. Everybody's taking their shirts off, posting stuff. Everybody wants to be bigger and stronger.
I mean, that's fine. Everybody has their own ways of doing it again, right? But like, in the grand scheme of things, let's all help each other and gain knowledge from each other and stop shitting on each other. And yes, the issue with the strength and conditioning world is there's too many damn idiots in it. When you can just go online and get
models, man.
You can go online and be on Instagram and just post like your dumb leg workout with no knowledge behind it or anything. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go do squats with a band on to the air. Okay, first of all, time under tension is not occurring there. I mean, it is, but not in the sense that you're trying to actually gain muscle size. It'll help a little bit, and I might be wrong. Again, if you want to call me out, we'll talk about this. Don't do stupid shit like that. Yeah. Or just the idiots. If you can go online.
Just know your education knowledge, right? I'm not going to go into, I'm just even trying to think of an example, like into like Brandon's company, into Monster, and act like I know what I'm talking about with the drinks, or act like I know what I'm talking about with the distributing level or whatever. I'm not going to go into that because I know I'm not educated in that field.
Exactly.
Don't go into the strength and conditioning field just because your body looks good and act like you're saying like, these IG models and like, hey, do this for your legs, this and this, and have no context of like what you're actually trying to do. And the worst thing is when I start to see like, hey, I'm working on power, and they're fucking hitting 14 reps, and they're saying they're trying to work on power.
That's strength endurance, guys.
And I'm like, you guys,
Power occurs in 1 to 2 reps.
And people just
Maybe
aren't
5.
understanding. Yeah,
Depends on
they're
what you're
just not
doing.
understanding.
Under 5.
They're not understanding the context of what's going on. Okay.
This is riveting.
No,
I'm cheering you on. No,
yeah,
I'm
and that's what's huge.
Just,
But that's what we're trying to learn is like people got to stay in your effing lane, in your fucking lane.
Thank you. I was waiting for the full.
Fucking lane.
This is an explicit podcast, so just fuck it.
But stay in your fucking
Oh
lane.
my god.
Like for real though, like.
But what if I'm in my lane over? Well, actually, I have a decent knowledge of most of
don't-
stuff you're saying. But say,
You don't have a blinker.
but no, but
Like you're on.
Don't cut me off.
what I'll say is, what you're saying is true. But I would challenge you to maybe not say stay in your fucking lane. I'd say maybe if you want to enter a lane that you're not familiar with, do the education that we talked about.
Exactly.
Take the time to
Exactly.
read, ask questions, interact, maybe ask a few different personal trainers at a few different gyms so you're not getting one mindset. If you go to one gym, a lot of
You're
people are going to have the
gonna
same
get
mindset. So go to a couple different gyms, ask questions, read some stuff online, and then go attack Christian on his page when he's doing something now that he just told you to stay in your effing lane.
I didn't say
And-
stay in your effing lane.
Oh,
Okay,
I see.
Shane. So go on Shane's.
Come join my lane. I want to be
There
teaching
you
you
go.
guys how to
There you
do
go.
this.
Join his lane. Avoid Shane's
Follow me on
lane.
Instagram at Christian Backus. You can learn a lot there.
Shane Moody 25.
Just
Grow up.
understand when you're going into someone else's lane and understand your education level. Just like you said, right? It's a context of it. Just don't like jump in and say, I know everything about this when you have no knowledge on it just because you might have a good body or just because something like this. Like, I don't care. It doesn't mean you know the context of what you're trying to do and don't try to train other people.
I mean, look at a powerlifter. You wouldn't
Right.
see a powerlifter walking around the street other than they're freaking huge. Or a strongman, not a powerlifter. You see strongmen out there, they're big dudes. They ain't small dudes. They don't look. They look the part, but they don't look the part. And you understand what I'm saying when I say that. Like, a lot of them are kind of larger, fatter, on the fatter side.
Yeah.
They're also moving fucking 1,000 pounds in the deadlift bar.
Yeah.
They're throwing kegs over a 30-foot damn fucking thing. I mean, if you want to see, I'm going to give At the World's Strongest Gay a shout out just because I listened to him on Joe Rogan not too long ago and I follow him on Instagram, but his name is Rob Carney. He's talking on Joe Rogan about how he wants to deadlift 1,000 pounds.
Yeah. That's
Like, you see that dude walking down the street, yeah, he's big, he's probably strong. You wouldn't guess that he could probably deadlift 1,000 pounds. And I'm not shitting on him in any way, but like, that's a strong motherfucker,
yeah.
right? Be strong.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going with this, but be strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's segue somewhere else. I'm looking for a segue around the room. So.
No,
Sorry, we're talking about a lot of strength.
No,
No,
but it-
occasional.
No.
No, it's fine. I
I
think,
think it's
let's
just
talk about
the
art.
importance of just staying here. Like,
Dude, I don't give a fuck about
So
that.
Anya and I went to Twisted, what's it called?
What's the tea?
No, it's painting with a twist.
Is that one of those sip and drink places?
Yeah, they're good.
Oh,
You should go. So what I learned with that
It's
is,
like Color Me Mine, but with drinks.
well, we are both trying to be perfect, and then but I think when you go there, the more you relax and the more you focus on the experience, the better your art is. And same thing kind of with lifting. When you're trying to research, I don't want to say we talk about educating yourself, but I think when you get too caught up in researching and looking for other people and doing all these things and trying to be perfect, you produce a lesser piece, similar to what happened with us. And I think when you go into like painting with a twist and you go in there and you sip on some wine, you relax, you kind of listen to the instructor, ask for a few tips here and there, which is kind of what your research should be, maybe a few tips here and there, maybe a workout or two, and you go out there and you do your art. It's going to look really good because one, it's going to be your produced art. Two, you're going to have taken your time. And three, when you're having a good time there, you're more relaxed, your strokes are better and stuff like that. Are you kidding me? You laughed at that. Your brush strokes are better and stuff like that. So I think when you're able to relax and take the information in and don't overload yourself, don't go crazy, and you begin to, and you can process things, because once you overload yourself, you're not going to be able to perform as well. So just take a little bit of information in, process it, and produce a good result. And the same thing with lifting, painting with a twist.
Anything.
And yeah,
Everyone starts
even
as a beginner.
And like we talked about the stock market, even the stock market, if you read every single article on the stock and you invest in every single stock in every article, I'm not gonna say you're gonna fail, but you may not do as well as you
Start
do
small.
someone else. So,
And anything, like, start with the basics and work your way up.
Yeah.
And that's what you gotta do with strength and conditioning. Like, for example, if I have a new athlete come in, I'm gonna have them goblet squat. And that's just holding the dumbbell. Then we can move to a box squat, and then I'll let them free squat. But even in the grand scheme of things, everybody box squats with me.
Yeah.
But
Can I gobble squat with you?
Goblet squat. Gobble squat.
Gobble or goblet?
Goblet.
You said it sounded like you said gobble the first time.
Sorry,
I apologize.
I don't enunciate
But,
very well.
yeah.
Goblet.
I might have heard it.
I
It's-
mumble.
The biggest thing I think we are this life right now, we're so focused on like the end result that all of us want to be like perfect, like Brandon was saying, like that, like we want to be at the highest level of everything. We all understand that at some point to get to that level you have to fail and fail and fail, and you're a beginner and you make mistakes and you do all this. So none of us are perfect, none of us have all the perfect tools or all the truths or everything like that. But if you're just trying to put a good intention of like, hey, this is what I was educated about and this is what I'm trying to give on to you, then you're doing the right thing, right? But no, like people gotta start being nicer to people and understand like the context and how to educate people properly and stop like just attacking people like Brandon was saying. I think that was the biggest piece of it is like you educate yourself in context. Educate yourself, make a context, and then figure out, okay, what am I good at now and what can I give to the world and what can I say now and what puts me in that lane, basically what I said before. And that's a huge piece of it.
Yeah.
So go ahead and join us next week on episode 6. Any last thoughts over there, Brandon?
Thanks for putting me on the spot after you started to do the ending promo.
It's fine. I got a couple of things to finish off.
You got a couple of things to finish off with me? That's fun. I think number one thing, try to be aggressive and find a niche way for you to create an additional. I was doing the shading. It was never mind. But find, you guys had such a nice speech going, you ruined it.
I'm sorry. It's welcome to the podcast.
Find a way to bring an additional source of income in. Start small. Find your passion, whether maybe you like something really safe, some bonds, maybe go aggressive with some stocks, maybe go some real estate, whatever you want to do, find a way to develop additional source of income and further yourself in the future and be patient with it. Don't wait for it to turn overnight. If it goes down right away, don't get scared. Don't get turned off by it. Just take your time, grow, develop. It's just like anything. It's like when you lift, you're tearing your muscles up and then you build over time. And you don't see those results after the first day, but you start to see them over time. And same thing, we always bring everything back to lifting. But
it's just our background. Sorry, guys.
But it's like, okay, it's like an art piece. And then keep going with pain at the twist.
You're having Call of Duty.
Brandon's an artist.
I'm not an artist, but you start with your little chalk sketch. You start with your lines.
Different types of paints.
Oh my.
Was it watercolor or oil based?
Oh my, oil. So it's starting with your canvas, painting your canvas white over your white, getting some layers in there, getting some depth in there,
I like
beginning to make outlines of stuff.
You paint white over white?
Yeah, it makes the paint stay better. And then you go
Good
ahead.
knowledge we're learning here at the end.
You guys act like I'm painter. I did this one time. So you draw your lines, and the long story short is your painting comes to fruition at the end, and your different things you're layering. It looks weird at the beginning. Same thing with investing. Same thing with something. So just stay strong, be confident in yourself, take your time, develop, and be successful. I think every single person has a chance to be successful. No matter what your income is, no matter what you're doing, you can better yourself. You can further your future. And it's like we said, finding ways to budget money, finding ways to put stuff aside, having discipline. And that's going to pay dividends in the long run. That's how you become that guy that all your friends are looking up to, like, man, he's not busting his ass at 50, 60 years old. You're laying back and you're having a good time watching your kids grow up. I think that's really the dream.
Driving a Skyline GTR R34.
That's crazy.
That was very specific.
Well, yeah, that's one of my dream
It's
cars.
his dream.
Speaking of investing in cars, the R34, okay, this is like Paul Walker R34. It's actually increased in value. I don't know what it was new, but when I was just looking and talking to you, Brandon, about before we started this, there was one there for like $375,000 to hear a rare car. That's a V-Spec too, anyhow.
Are you buying that?
I would like to buy that.
Nice.
I just want a GTR, an R34. R35 would be sweet. Those are the new ones you guys see around now, but
I'm just going to get you a crotch rocket.
no, I'm fine with my Raptor, which actually appreciates, just so we're aware. They don't really depreciate that much. Raptors are rare. They're everywhere, but they're rare. It's a weird concept. I'm not shitting. You can get like a 2012 for like 35.
I'm really happy you're not shitting. That's really good.
Anyhow, so as we close this out, two things. Be on the lookout for our episode number 1 of At the Brewery. That's coming soon. Episode 2 of the book. So
Yeah, we're gonna recap the book next.
yeah, we're gonna start separating and recapping the books.
Mama
So you guys that are into the books, We're going to have separate episodes for that. Obviously, we'll tie in what we're talking about with our guests. But we've already had episode 1. That was our very first episode on The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Did I pronounce that right? Yeah. Sun Tzu.
Spelled Sue.
It's TZU.
Good job.
Thank you. SUNTZU. Sun Tzu.
Space.
And then we're going to have At the Brewery episode 1 coming at you guys soon. But yeah, like Shane said, stay tuned for episode number 6. We got some cool guests coming here in the future. And
finishing off by Christian at the end of this episode.
So be prepared for the future. We got some cool stuff happening. Be ready to tune in and learn about some beers at the brewery. And the book, we'll have that coming out to you guys soon. But anything else, Shane?
No, that sounds good. You guys summed it all up.
This has been Books and Brewskies with Brandon, Shane, and Christian. Thank you for listening.
Brandon's a guest. He's not here all the time. I promise. Bye,
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Have a good week.